Today I'm going to be going over dynamic search ads. So these are a type of targeting for your search campaign within your Google Ads and your Microsoft/Bing Ads account. So if you already are running search campaigns, you should consider running dynamic search ads because what they do is they automatically take your website content based on the targets that you set, and I'll go over more of this throughout the video, but they're going to use your actual website content, either URLs or categories that you have on your website, and it's going to use those for your targeting. So basically, it makes it much easier for an advertiser to actually create different targets based on the actual content on their website. So to give you a quick rundown of why you should test dynamic search ads. First and foremost, automated ads. So Google will automatically pull in your ad title and your landing page based on what people are searching and based on what's on your actual website. So that makes your ads very, very relevant. Your main job is to create great ad assets, specifically at the ad group level, and then also write really great description lines as well. So I'm going to show you this in Google Ads just after I'm done with reading this slide here. Real-time optimization, the ads are automatically going to be dynamically generated in real time to match user search queries. Where this really is helpful is for if you have a ton of different products on your website, or you have a lot of product categories, or, for the example I've used in the past of TripAdvisor has a ton of hotels on their website. Instead of targeting each individual hotel based on the keyword for that hotel, you can use specific page rules to target all the different hotels that you have in a specific area. The main thing that you need to do as an advertiser is not only set up those targets, but make sure that you're incorporating conversion tracking and using a smart bidding strategy. So what you may want to do is set up your dynamic search ads campaign and then allow Google to test it for several weeks by using either a maximize conversion or maximize conversion value bidding strategy. And then from there, what you're trying to do is find your best possible cost per action or your return on ad spend, what you're trying to target to run a profitable campaign. Now, the other benefit is an expanded reach. So instead of just using specific keyword targeting, even if you're using broad match keywords, you may not be able to target every single keyword that's relevant to your website. With dynamic search ads, you can actually use your specific pages on your website to actually make sure that you're serving the most relevant ads that are tailored to the search terms people are actually typing in, and allows you to increase your overall testing, which testing is a huge portion of getting the best out of your Google Ads campaigns. Landing page matching. So Google will automatically match ads to your relevant landing pages. So that makes it as relevant as possible. So when people are typing in very specific searches about specific, either, the example I used before, hotels or products, you're able to actually drive people to those landing pages. And all you really have to do is set up your dynamic ad targets. You could use a feed-based or URL-based targeting structure, so you could actually create a page feed. I'll go over that a little bit later in the video, using your website content or your product pages to generate the most relevant ads. Last but not least, you can also incorporate negative targets. So if there's specific pages you don't want to advertise, you can incorporate your negative keyword list as well. So it's not like you're just leaving this wide open to Google where you're saying, Google, do anything you want with my website. You can also say, here are the pages that I want to incorporate within my advertising. Here are the pages I don't. So let's open up Google here. Very quickly before I get into this, I just recently created two different tutorials about Google Ads dynamic search ads, a shorter version and a longer version of this tutorial. I'm also going to be putting some of these videos together into basically a large dynamic search ads tutorial. So anybody who's trying to learn about dynamic search ads, they're going to have this video, my Google Ads dynamic search ads tutorial, and I just recently created a Microsoft advertising dynamic search ads tutorial that will be published along with this video shortly. So if we come over here to our Google Ads account, what you could do is either create a brand new search campaign. So I go over this in my longer version of my video where you can create a new search campaign, basically create a standard ad group. When you're setting up your search campaign, your standard ad group is going to target keywords. So you can mix standard ad groups along with your dynamic ad groups as well. So it's good if you're saying, okay, I want to set up these 20 different standard ad groups for some of the different product categories on my website where I still want to target keywords and I still want to make sure that I'm using that keyword targeting. And then I'm also going to be setting up dynamic ad groups so I can make sure that I'm targeting for people that are searching for specific products. So let's come over here and let's click on the plus sign to create a new ad group. And this is where you can choose to create a dynamic ad group. So I'm going to go over some different strategies for creating dynamic ad groups. And the example I'm going to be using today is, let's just say KOA.com, so the camping company, has a ton of different campgrounds all over the place, says, we want to start advertising some of our different campgrounds. So since they have a lot of different campgrounds all over, I just boiled this down to South Carolina. And what you can do here is you can actually use dynamic search ads to target based on some of these individual campground areas that they have. So a couple different examples I have here is Mount Pleasant, Charleston, Charlotte, and then over here is the Myrtle Beach campgrounds as well. So if we come over to our dynamic search ads, and let's just use this Myrtle Beach example, because using this one example, you should be able to get the idea of how you would set this up for other dynamic ad groups. Is if we come over here, we want to set up our ad groups. Now this is pulling in categories from my website, brickpop.com. So you can target some of these categories. And, for example, here, the example I've used before in the past is up here with puzzles. If you preview, somebody searches Montessori puzzles, they send people to this landing page. The landing page has the 24 best Montessori puzzles for 2023. So that is one of the options that you have. Let's name this ad group Myrtle Beach. Okay, and now instead of using the categories here, we're going to use specific web pages. You can also use all web pages. So if you want to target all web pages, just basically trying to get as much volume as possible within your search campaign, you can do that as well, and Google will target every single page on your website. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new rule to target specific web pages, and we can either use exact URLs or create rules to target a web page. Now, if we open up the campground pages for Myrtle Beach in particular, what KOA basically has for every single area is this type of main overview page, which you would want to promote this overview page because, somebody who's typing in Myrtle Beach campgrounds, you want this page to come up. But you also have a deals page, a map page, amenities, recreation, events, photos, food, local, blog, and info. So there's a couple different options of what you can do here. We obviously want to target this page. So campgrounds, Myrtle Beach, site type lodging. This one, Myrtle Beach hot deals. This one, site type RV camping site. This one, Myrtle Beach site type tent camping sites. And then as we come over here, we have Myrtle Beach local area attractions, Myrtle Beach food. We have Myrtle Beach albums. So what we could do is if we want to target the main pages that are actually promoting bookings, which is what you would want to promote. You don't want to promote the food that is at the Myrtle Beach KOA resort. People can find this by doing a Google search. You don't need to be spending your money on this keyword. You want to be spending money on people that are looking for RV camping sites, either in Myrtle Beach or South Carolina. So that's what you're trying to actually find. So what we could do here for this target is you could either say, okay, you know what I want to do? I want to create a rule to target a web page and say the URL contains this in it, campgrounds and Myrtle Beach. So we take this right here, or you could just use Myrtle Beach. Now the problem with doing this and doing add, so URL contains campgrounds and Myrtle Beach, is what it's also going to target are some of these other ones as well with the local area attractions, with the food. So where you may be better off doing is either using these as negative targets. So within your campaign, what you could do is set up a negative target for food, negative target for albums, negative target for attractions. They have a few others over here. So they have blog, they have general information. So anytime you open up a URL, what you're trying to do is look at the actual structure of the URL. So there's two different ways that I would recommend targeting this. And the way that I would probably do it is just using some of these rules to target a web page. This would be the easiest way to me is URL contains Myrtle Beach. So then you would be able to do this for an area like Myrtle Beach, for an area like Mount Pleasant, Charleston, for an area like Charlotte, set these all up into different ad groups. URL contains Myrtle Beach. So we click on save and continue. And now this is how easy it is to create your ads. So you want to create assets still, and I'll go over assets after we create the ad. The final URL dynamically generated, headline dynamically generated, display URL dynamically generated. All we need to do is write 2 description lines. So I'm just going to take some of the copy from the KOA website for Myrtle Beach, and we'll say, welcome to the best camping Myrtle Beach has to offer. And so we'll keep this simple here, but obviously you want to write really good description lines as well. Book your camping trip to Myrtle Beach and find the perfect campsite for your trip. I don't know if campsite is 1 word or 2, but we'll make it 2 here. Click on done. We can create a second dynamic search ad, so there's no downside to creating multiple ads, but for right now, we're just going to click on save and continue. So now we have our dynamic ad group set up. And what you could do is you can create these dynamic ad groups for all of these different areas. Add the plus sign, click on the plus sign here to create a new ad group, set up a dynamic ad group, continue. All we need to do here is say URL contains Mount Pleasant, Charleston. So we come down to specific web pages, create new rule, URL contains Mount Pleasant, Charleston. Okay. save and continue, create our ads, and it's really that simple. Now let's leave this page, and now what I would do to set this up, and obviously you want to create other ad groups, so you want to make sure you're creating ad groups for all of these different areas that you have. They have a ton of different areas, so it would make it easy just to do this, copy and paste this specific area, separate all those into different ad groups. From there, what you can do is within your campaign and within your targeting is you can set negative dynamic ad targets. So we're in our campaign right here. If we come over to campaigns and we go to audiences, keywords, and content, you're going to see dynamic ad targets. So these are our current dynamic ad targets. These are just some different ones I've created in the past that you can see. But what we would want to do is set a negative dynamic ad target. And all you would do is say, let's add this to the campaign level. And we're going to create rules to target web pages. And these are negative targets. So URL contains, and take all those words out that we had before. So one is attractions. So URL contains attractions, add. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one, we could do URL contains blog, so we don't want to target this blog page, and add. So you can do this for all of these negative dynamic ad targets. So you would do it for albums, you would do it for food, you would do it for blog, for attractions. And then what you know that you're doing is you're targeting all these different Myrtle Beach pages that are actually valuable for your website. Now, I don't know if KOA has other Myrtle Beach pages on their website, but that's where you would want to keep adding some negative targets. The other option would be to take this URL, or take the URL like this one, KOA Campgrounds Myrtle Beach, this one here, and just use a bunch of exact URL targeting when you're setting up your actual targets here. So when you come over to your campaigns, and let's come over to our ad groups here. So instead of using the dynamic ad target that we did for Myrtle Beach, I don't know why our target isn't there, but that's fine. Click on the plus sign, use exact URLs, and then basically just go through, copy here. I just think the other way would be easier if you're adding a bunch of different locations for targeting. But this is how dynamic search ads work. Then all you would really need to do at the end is, or at some point, is go into your campaign, and underneath your assets here, make sure that you're creating assets either at the campaign level or the ad group level, or both. So this is where you could use assets like site links to target some of these other, Myrtle Beach local area attractions. Maybe just the attractions page would be worthwhile. The rest of them, I would try to send people to these specific, RV camping sites, lodging, tent stays, extended stays, and you can set those at the ad group level so that you're actually using site links to send people to the most valuable pages on your website. Use structured snippets to go over the different types of campsites you have, a promotion assets to go over a limited time promotion, pricing if prices start at a specific area, or if you have fixed prices, they probably vary, so this would be a harder one to use. Location assets for where the actual campgrounds are located. You could use a lead form asset if you want people to fill out that lead form, but you'd probably rather just send them directly to your website. Call assets if that's one of the things you're trying to drive. Call out just to go over some additional information that people might need, and then business name and business logo to make your ads look more professional. So that's really that simple to create dynamic search ad groups. I never saved my dynamic ad targets, so I'm not actually targeting anything in this campaign. The last thing that you can do is if you come over here to your tools and you go to business data, you can actually upload a page feed. So you can see a page feed right here. When you click on it, it's going to say select a source. So in this case, mine would be upload a file. And then you can download the page feed template directly from Google. If you search dynamic search ads and go to their help page, they have the page feed template. If you want to create it yourself, it's very simple. Column A, page URL, column B, custom label, and then you enter the URLs you want to target and enter your custom labels here. So I went over doing this with Myrtle Beach, and what we could do is say, okay, let's target this Myrtle Beach campgrounds page, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then we have 2 labels here. Then when you're setting up your targeting, all you have to do is target by these specific labels. So when you upload your page feed, these labels will actually come up within your targeting. Now, I don't use labels that often if I'm setting up dynamic search ads or page feeds. I just find it easier to use the specific URL targeting like I went over, but it's really that simple to add dynamic ad targets to your existing campaign. And just make sure that when you are creating your dynamic ad targets, that you come over here to your specific web pages. In our case, we said the URL contains, and we just did Myrtle Beach here. So we could just take this Myrtle Beach, make sure you add, create rules, URL contains, add that over here. So URL contains Myrtle Beach, save, and that is how you can create your dynamic ad target. I don't know why we're getting an unknown error. but maybe it doesn't. Okay, there we go. So URL contains Myrtle Beach is our dynamic ad target. Then you would set up your negative dynamic ad targets for some of those other pages that aren't as valuable. So these are dynamic search ads, what they are, why test them. It makes your life a lot easier because you don't have to create these really long responsive search ads. You can create multiple dynamic search ads in an ad group within seconds, write your description lines, create your ad assets at the campaign or the ad group level, and from there, allow your ads to actually run, allow Google to do some testing, set up conversion tracking and a smart bidding strategy, and you are ready to run your dynamic search ads. Very, very similar process if you're doing the same exact thing. If we come over here to Microsoft Advertising, you can create a new ad group and create a dynamic ad group the same way you do in Google Ads. So ad group type would be dynamic, change the ad group type. You just need to make sure you enable dynamic ad targeting from your campaign settings. And then same thing down here, either target categories, target all web pages, or target specific web pages using exact URLs or using rules. Again, if you build one of these dynamic search campaigns in your Google Ads account, you can actually just import it directly into your Microsoft Advertising account by going to import. That's generally how I set up all my campaigns. I'll build them out in Google, import them into Microsoft Advertising, and now we can take advantage of both channels and all of that search volume. So if you have any questions about dynamic search ads, this is what they are and why you should test them. They basically just use your pages to generate headlines, to generate final URLs. They're going to send traffic to your pages. Things that start driving conversions are going to keep getting traffic. So that's why you should test dynamic search ads. A lot of different things that you can do with them to make your life a little bit easier rather than trying to target every single keyword under the sun. So thank you again for watching my video, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.